We're getting so much feedback from ordinary Australians, from Australian companies, but also Australian suppliers that we're at a moment of time that people want to back each other and get behind each other's products. I think we've seen a lot in the past recent period of time, people and companies that have kind of been a bit divergent. But here's a moment in time with so much uncertainty that we've got an opportunity to back each other to a better outcome.
Okay, so by actually creating this campaign, does it imply that there has been a lack of backing of Australian goods, companies and services in the past?
We've had so much choice being thrown at us, and I think we've lost a bit of sight, what is and what isn't Australian. And that doesn't mean that you necessarily, it's all being produced and made here, but what stays here. And that, I know that Australians are not always aware of those companies, even though there may be a brand they're familiar with and a brand they want to back, but they need to be better informed. And so by coming together, you get a bit of scale, you get a bit of collaboration, but ultimately you're getting a lot of unity. And that's really what the point of this campaign is.
But the reality is that Australians are proud people. They're proud of their own products, of their own innovation. And that's largely what this campaign's about.
Definitely Australians are looking for cost benefit, but they're also looking for quality benefit. And in many cases, Australian products and services are of equal quality and definitely better value than some of their international counterparts. And our role is to definitely inform them to make the best decision. Westpac Economics is about to come out with a report where if every Australian household was to redirect $100 to Australian goods or services, it would generate $16 billion in value across 12 months and also create 40,000 additional jobs. And that's the sort of backing of each other that if we were to reinvest back into our country, we'd all see the benefit of.
Do you think for many Australians it's difficult to find out what's Australian and what's Australian made, created, produced and what's not?
I think, and part of this campaign for us is to inform. So I'd see our role as being, first of all, are you informed about what are the issues? And we're telling those stories that matter around affordability. We're talking about basic needs around the cost of living. What is the best education? Then the second role is around advocacy and advocating for better outcomes for all Australians. And that's really where this campaign's origination came from, is that advocating for Australian companies to be supporting each other, Australian consumers to be supporting each other. And so we've done that recently through health, particularly in the area of dementia. We've looked at it also in the areas of celebration. And so how we celebrate our national events, our national teams, but also at a community level. And so particularly local sport is another area that we kind of celebrate on. So this is all around that concept of mateship, which defines our culture, and that we're there for each other. And that goes back well over 100 years of us supporting each other. And that at this moment in time, people are not quite sure who is on your side and who isn't. And this is a unifying people together and providing that unity that Australians can be there for each other.
So Australia right now is coming through a cost of living crisis. At that time, often the cheapest product is seen to be the best product. But the reality is whether there is a premium that people are prepared to pay for an Australian-made, Australian-produced good.
Yeah, and for some people it would be about premium. It's about premium service, not just premium good. So that'd be one that people consider. But yeah, affordability and accessibility, but I think also discoverability. And that people, are they being informed? And we're looking at the details of what differs between some of those products and services. In some cases, you are, yes, trading off quality versus cost, but often the Australian produced product is just as good at the same price, but doesn't necessarily have the scale to be discovered. And that's part of what this campaign is, and that's what our role as media is to ensure that Australians are informed to make the best decision.
Because Australia is an innovative country. Australians are innovators at their very nature. Having a go is a part of what Australians are all about. And really, in many ways, this campaign is about focusing on those people who are having a go to produce in Australia.
Yes. There are about 40,000 ma and pa businesses out there who can't necessarily compete with some of the global players, but they're in the high streets, they're in the communities, they're providing quality and cared goods and services. And this campaign is also about supporting them, and so that people can better connect with them and understand that what they spend locally will stay locally, and that ultimately builds a better community.
So we should say one thing, and that is News Corporation is a global business that operates in Australia but operates in other parts of the world. How do you reconcile that with a Backing Australia campaign?
Our origins are in Australia. We are, regardless of where we operate in the world, and there are many great Australian success stories that have gone across the globe, but we are quartered here. We are committed to Australia. Our culture globally is an Australian culture. But what we focus on in terms of our mastheads is what is best for Australia.
Because the reality is that great businesses can be created starting with an Australian focus, but then go to the world. And there's many examples of those.
Yeah, and every business should have that ambition, that they can grow and flourish and meet new markets. But that we shouldn't forget, though, and particularly in our case, where we do advocate for a better Australia, that the communities that buy us here, consumers here, readers here, viewers here, are the ones that we want to serve and look after the best. And that's really what this campaign is encouraging them to back each other, and we're going to back them.
So is this campaign directed at consumers, or is it directed at business?
Oh, it's more than one level. It's there are encouraging Australians, everyday Australians, to know what is Australian, and encouraging them to come together to back Australian. It's also backing Australian workers, which are Australian companies. It's encouraging innovation. It's also raising, do we have our policy settings right? And so this is Australian government. It's buying Australian, it's supporting Australian, it's better understanding Australia, but ultimately it is coming together to say we're going to back Australia.
So on that subject of policy, do you sense there are any policies that could be changed in future that would help Australian outcomes? In other words, this campaign's outcomes?
Yeah, innovation is important, and that technology is rapidly changing. And so are we best informed? Do we have the best incentives in place? Do we have the best environment for workers to be, for companies to be encouraging and employing more workers? And are there incentives there? Do we have the right training? And our universities and schools, are we getting the right skills that are developing to retain people in Australia that then leads to innovation? I think I look at state v Fed, and that again these are lines that have been drawn many decades before, but we're operating in a very much global world today, thank you to technology, and that's more the opportunity for us to create those bridges globally for us to reach new audiences, to help build Australian businesses to be even larger and even better.
So is it your hope that this campaign is at least one stepping stone along the way to a better Australia, to a brighter Australia, even to a happier Australia?
Hey, that's what we get up for every morning. This is about a better Australia. That's how we think about how we create our media every day and how we talk to people. This has got to be championing for them, advocating for them, celebrating them. And so this campaign is a part of that. And it's not just Australian people, it's Australian companies, it's Australian workers. It's people who want to make the most of their life. And we live in the best country of the world. And that most Australians have that ambition that this is going to be even a better country, and how can they participate in that and meet their ambitions.
Michael Miller, good to chat to you. Many thanks.
Thank you, Ross.